Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tempcast, the official GBAtemp podcast. Today, I'm joined by Eric.
Hey guys, that's me.
And Tempcast regular Steven.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Steven, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode. I know it's very difficult for you with your situation. Every time you join, you're late, but we understand it. We're just so thankful for having you on the podcast, really, because we love you so much.
You are very welcome.
Me and Eric, we couldn't do this without you. Like, you're an integral part of the podcast, so thank you once again for existing.
And in his defense, we only started recording 45 minutes ago, so, I mean, he wasn't as late as he usually is this time. So, I mean, bravo, Steven, for making it only 45 minutes late.
Thank you. Don't get used to it.
And in honor of Steven, the first topic we're going to be talking about is going to be something that Steven has reported on. Super Mario 64 has been ported to the DSi by a GBAtemp member named Hyder8Gone. Hyder8Gone basically took the source code from Mario 64 and ported it to the DSi successfully. Now, you might be thinking, well, why did he do that? Isn't Super Mario 64 DS already on the DS? Why would you waste your time porting the same game on a DS? Well, to that, I say, go fuck yourself, because it's cool. This is really cool. I honestly did not expect it to run on DSi and run that well. Currently, I think there's no sound right now in the current build.
Yeah,
because this is being updated right now. So, Steven, is there any details I'm missing about this?
No, not really. I mean, the big thing is that it's only running on the DSi right now because it has a higher RAM than the regular DS. The Hyder8Gone thinks he may be able to get it running on a regular DS at some point, but he's working on getting the DSi port working at the moment. Or I shouldn't say working, but completed, like, you know, with audio implemented and all that.
Yeah, so there are some slowdowns in certain areas. Well, makes sense. What surprised me is that the original DS had only 4 megabytes of RAM. Wow, that's, like, not a lot at all. Like, no. How did developers back in the day, like, put Super Mario 64 on the original DS with that DS port?
And made the game bigger.
Yeah, they did. I think the ROM actually weighs a lot more than the original, which makes sense. It's like a remake, I guess. And it does, in my eyes, look better than the original. I know a lot of people would argue with me on that one, but I think the DS port is better than the original. The only issues the DS port has is the controls, because controlling that with the D-pad, it doesn't really work out that well.
Yeah, I would love to see a port of that game to a proper analog system, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could download the Mario 64 port for the 3DS, which a lot of people argue is the best way to play that game. And it even supports 3D, which is interesting.
Yeah, but that's still not 64 DS. That's 64 on a 3DS.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Because what I find interesting about that game is the added characters, and there's 30 more stars, I think, stuff like that.
Yeah, and also it has co-op, I think. You can play as Wario, you can play as Yoshi, and you can play as Luigi Man.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, not gonna lie. This isn't the only port that happened this week. Grand Theft Auto Vice City has been successfully ported to the Vita as well. It's based off of the Vice City reverse engineered project that's going on, which is basically just reverse engineering the entire game to obtain its, source code, which is really, really cool because that opens up a lot of possibilities, not just for modding, but also porting this game to different systems. Now, the biggest one that happened this week was it being ported to the Vita. Now, I actually remember GBAtemp member DinoScene talking to me about this reverse engineering project. It seems to have progressed to the point where we're now porting the game to other systems, which is pretty cool. Have you guys played Vice City?
Oh yeah. I've played all of the sort of original 3D Grand Theft Autos, Vice City 3 and San Andreas, and I loved them. And I am very happy to see that a new generation of people are going to be able to play it on the Vita, because honestly, the mobile version of the games just don't hold up. This is, I think, the definitive way to play it.
I've never played Vice City. Sorry.
Now is your chance. You can just dust off your Vita, install this using ReVC Vita, which is a program, a homebrew. I suppose I don't have a Vita. And supposedly you should probably need an original copy of Vice City in order to port it to the Vita. Otherwise, I don't think legally could play it.
Yeah.
So just buy it on Steam, whatever. It's a great game. Rockstar really needs the money right now. They're really struggling. They made only $200 million from Grand Theft Auto 5 multiplayer in the past 6 months.
I've played Grand Theft Auto 5 also, by the way, and I personally enjoy Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas more than I enjoyed the fifth one, just because of the way that the physics worked. The story didn't seem to take itself so seriously. I just really enjoyed basically the physics of the game and getting involved in the world, which was, you could actually memorize where things were in those earlier games, whereas you can't really do that as well in 5.
They didn't have that obsession with just making the world as big as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I often played 3 without even looking at the mini map. You just drive around, but it's like, how the hell are you supposed to do that in the new ones? And I realized that that's sort of something that naturally would have to happen if they want to make these games as vast as they are. I just think for my own personal enjoyment purposes, and I platinumed 5, so I've put hundreds of hours into it. I think 3 is, and San Andreas even more than 3, is a better game personally.
Yeah, I think being as big as possible isn't necessarily a good thing. It's kind of a big problem with a lot of open world games nowadays.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons why I like Vice City so much. It's one of my top games of all time, because that map is basically ingrained in my brain. It's like Dust 2 for a professional Counter-Strike player. I can name anything. I know how you can get from the nightclub to the police station. It's just all memorized in my head. It's very weird. I can close my eyes and I'm already there. Wow, that's pretty freaky. You can't do the same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5's map, Los Santos. It's so big and so empty at the same time. All the houses look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it takes forever to get anywhere, and you're constantly interrupting the action to look at your mini map or whatever, and yeah, it just totally takes you out of it, and you don't feel like you're in a real living space. Everything kind of ends up feeling the same because you don't have any time to get associated with it.
Steven, have you played 3 Vice City or San Andreas?
No, I said I haven't played Vice City. I played a ton of San Andreas when I was a kid, but I haven't played it probably since I was 8 or 9.
Okay, yeah. If you had to pick one, that would probably be the one that most people would recommend. Vice City is really fun, though. I think I like the story of Vice City more.
I was gonna say if I was gonna choose one, it would be Vice City because I love the neon 80s aesthetic and that era and stuff like that, and definitely the music would probably appeal to me the most in that one.
Mm-hmm.
You will love Vice City, so get your PS Vita out and play it the way it was intended to play.
The way.
Not just that, you can also play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the Vita. Yes, we have talked about this project by The Flow a couple of weeks ago, and now it has a stable release for the Vita. Now, the thing is, this isn't a reverse engineered project. This is a port of the Android port to the Vita, which is completely different. There is actually a reverse engineering project going on for San Andreas, but it's nowhere near completion. San Andreas is way more of a complex game in terms of the way the engine is used. So it's going to be a lot harder to reverse engineer that game. But yeah, so basically it received a stable release. I've seen some gameplay. It's around 20 to 30 FPS. So it's kind of playable, I guess. It's about the same as the original PS2, I think, that had about the same kind of performance. And the thing that worries me is that I know for a fact that the Android version isn't really that good of San Andreas. I think I know the Xbox port of San Andreas and the PlayStation 3 ports, or maybe it was a PlayStation 4 port, I can't remember. Those are unplayable. You can't finish them because there are like bugs in certain missions, and you just can't even complete the game, I'm pretty sure. So I wonder if like the same issues are prevalent in this Android version.
I was under the impression that the PS4 version is actually the PS2 versions. So all of the bugs from the PS2 version of the game would also appear on the PS4 version. I know that was the case for Grand Theft Auto 3 anyway.
Are there that many bugs in the PS2 version? I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know. When it comes to San Andreas, I never encountered them, but there were quite a few in Grand Theft Auto 3 that was kind of difficult to overcome in the PS4 version. But, you know, there's always workarounds for all of these bugs. There's nothing game breaking as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so going back to the reverse engineering topic, one thing that's very interesting is the modding capabilities this brings. Here's something that they could do with utilizing the source code. Now, I'm not a programmer. I'm not qualified at all to talk about this, nor host a podcast for the biggest independent hacking community on the web. But I think you could add like ray tracing to Vice City if it's reverse engineered, if you have the source code, because the same thing was actually done to Super Mario 64. But the strange thing is that it didn't actually look that much better, because Mario 64's art style, it wasn't made to have lighting in it at all. It's just polygons. So you can Google this. There's a YouTube video of Super Mario 64 running with RTX, and it doesn't look appealing at all. It kind of looks like those promotional images they had for the game, and the box art and the magazines. It looks kind of like that. But I think San Andreas, Vice City, and maybe even 3, they would definitely benefit from RTX. Like, that would be really cool to see, and I'm eager to see that pop up soon.
So porting San Andreas to the Vita is sort of taking it from the big screen to the small screen, sort of going from a big thing to a small thing. Speaking of all of the small things, now it's time for our new segment, which we've been doing since episode 2, I believe, called All the Small Things. Yeah, exactly. First thing coming up is the DotA Anime. I am not a big fan of Dota. I've never played it, nor do I know much about anime. So this is a fun thing to talk about. Are you guys excited for 2 of my things that I'm not that into?
No. I don't know anything about Dota or anime as well.
It's called Dragon's Blood.
Nice.
That's DB.
Okay.
That's not DOTA. Isn't Dota an acronym for something? Or am I wrong about that?
Yes. The defense of the army.
Defense of the army.
In defense of the army, it's just a bunch of like real proud patriots, like in the army's defense. That Middle Eastern country had lots of dragon's blood, and we were supposed to, take it to power our vehicles.
No, it's defense of the not Asians. What the defense of the ancients.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was because it's really big in Eastern Europe and you're right on the Asian border. It's defense from the Asians.
Yeah. And now it's in an anime form, which, is...
The Asians love.
Yeah.
That's racist.
I didn't say it. Steven said it. So...
That's really racist.
It turns out I apologize because I lied earlier. I really like Dragon Ball and One Piece, and those are both animes, but those are the only ones. So Moving on. Alan John just flipped me off.
Nice.
You guys didn't see that. He literally just flipped me off.
No,
He scratched his nose with this middle finger. Okay.
I never do that on purpose. Never. Like, if I want to flip somebody off, I'll just flip them off. I don't do it like in a secret way, like, this dude.
All right, now he's doing it again.
That was done on purpose. Like, that was just to show an example. But I don't do that like on purpose. Like, I just use my middle finger. It's a lot better than the index finger, to be honest. Like, it's longer, it's stronger. It's proven to be stronger. So yeah, sure, I use it all the time. And the index finger, you don't want to put that up in like your nose or your ass or whatever, because you got to use that when you're using the phone, right? Because you don't want to get your screen dirty. Now you also use it on your mouse, because you press the left mouse button most of the time, like 90% of the time, using your index finger, of course. And you don't want that finger to be dirty. So this anime, this DotA anime, it's not actually an anime. You know why? Because it's being handled by Studio Mir, which worked on The Legend of Korra and of Netflix Voltron Legendary Defender. And it's located in South Korea. Now, we can go in a tangent and discuss whether or not if something's drawn in the style of anime, but it's not made in Japan, can you consider it to be anime? Is it like champagne and sparkled wine? Is it that kind of situation going on? What do you guys think?
Oh, God, you actually want to have this discussion on whether something counts as anime? I think that the best anime of all time is either Teen Titans or the Powerpuff Girls. I can't tell which anime I like more. So that's all I have to contribute to this conversation.
Steven, I know you're a big anime fan. What do you think of this?
Of the DotA anime or
No. Fuck the DotA anime. Nobody cares about that. I want to know your opinion. If anime isn't made in Japan, is it anime?
Yes, because I think isn't the Japanese animation usually called Japanimation by industry experts in the field?
I'm gonna surprise you right now. So Avatar: The Last Airbender, that was an anime, turns out, at least in Steven's eyes. And also, I wanted to say that The Simpsons was an anime because it was made in an Asian country. Then I just realized I need to think my sentences through, because that doesn't make any contextual sense whatsoever.
No.
Speaking of things that don't make sense. Oh, this doesn't work. Fuck it. Mortal Kombat is receiving another movie, this time from HBO. Well, not HBO, Warner Brothers. It's just being released on HBO Max. And a trailer was revealed. And we've all seen the trailer. Now, before I get into my very hot opinions, what did you guys think of this trailer?
I just think in general, it's the idea of having a Mortal Kombat anything that's not related to the video games is just kind of goofy, because do people really pay attention to Mortal Kombat lore to the point where we're like, all right, let's have movies and TV series, and I guess comic books make sense, but I just, not even talking about the trailer, it's just a goofy concept to me.
So two things. There is actually a lot of lore to Mortal Kombat, and
I know it's just I don't understand why.
But well, you said it's kind of goofy to have anything besides the video games, as if the video games aren't inherently goofy. Like, the whole reason people love them is because Mortal Kombat is so goofy.
Yes, which works to me in the video game medium. I think that they're good games. It's just when you try to convert it to something else, it's like why I didn't think that the Mario movie worked,
That's why the Mario movie didn't work.
That's exactly the only reason why, because it's goofy. It's like, whoa, we have dinosaurs in New York. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that movie needed a more serious tone, definitely.
It certainly did.
Like they should have made Bowser like an 80s businessman with slicked back hair, something very serious and less goofy like that.
Yeah. All right, we're all on the same page here. There's no sarcasm being detected on my end. I'm glad that everybody agrees with me.
I mean, Mortal Kombat. So this trailer, it doesn't look like it's super into the lore. It looks like it's using it as an excuse to have lots of stupid, weird fights, and I'm into that. Like, there's a bit where I almost said where Mortal Kombat.
I mean, they had that. They had get over here.
The main character.
They had finish him. They had finish him. They had everything. They blew their load.
There's a bit where Sub-Zero stabs someone and then blood comes out and then he freezes the blood in midair and turns it into a knife and stabs them with their own blood.
That was cool.
Like, that shit's great. That's all you need. Yeah, that's all you need in a movie, really. Like, it's not going to be, a great story, but I think if it embraces having weird creative fight scenes you wouldn't see anywhere else, and the stupid, weird, silly lore of I almost said Dragon Ball Z of Mortal Kombat, then like you're good, you're into it.
That's really weird because I was just thinking of Dragon Ball Z.
Like that's the thing. Like how the fuck can you look at how can you watch something as fucking stupid as Dragon Ball Z and be like, who cares about fucking Mortal Kombat? This is stupid. Like,
oh,
you know what? I agree. I've been convinced. Mortal Kombat. I'm excited now. I want to watch it so badly.
I actually am excited for this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even that big a Mortal Kombat fan.
You guys watched the original?
No,
I don't think so. I think I might have seen it when I was a kid, but isn't that doesn't Christopher Lambert play Raiden in those?
Yeah, and he looks like nothing like the original Raiden. They just threw away the design of the character into the fucking trash.
Yeah.
Why?
Now here's why I didn't see it. I didn't see the original because
too goofy.
Who cares about the lore of Mortal Kombat? It's just sort of got to stick to the video game, because if you go outside of that, it's just really goofy. You know what I mean? All right, we're all on the same page. Moving on.
It did occur to me watching this trailer, like I think the reason this one looks good and I'm excited for it is it's kind of at the same point where comic book movies got to around like the early 2010s with the Marvel movies, where they're not trying to be serious anymore. They're not trying to appeal to a mass audience. They're just embracing the stupidity and the bright colors and the weird, goofy stuff that people want to see in these movies, you know? Did
you actually watch the Marvel movies? Because I don't think that they did that exclusively. I think that they do take themselves not to the point that DC does, but I mean, there's a lot of seriousness in those movies. I'm
not saying they need to be entirely like joke fest, but I mean, they kind of are extremely joking. They don't often put the brakes on and have any real stakes, but I mean, when they embrace having Chris Hemsworth walk around in like, old Victorian garb and fly by spinning a hammer really fast. Like, that's something they would never have done in the early 2000s when you look at like those X-Men movies where they're all wearing black leather and, stuff like that. They were afraid to get silly with it.
Yeah, no, yeah, they definitely have gotten more sillier. I just, they often have, I don't think that Infinity War was a comedy, but I think that Ragnarok probably was.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
Homecoming, and the other Spider-Man movie, those were just straight up comedies, and I hated them.
Yeah, well, I didn't hate them, but they were a little goofier and took themselves less seriously than some other Marvel movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think being less serious doesn't mean being like a Dark Knight Rises where it's totally po-faced constantly. There's room for both. I think I would honestly like the Marvel movies to take themselves more seriously at times. Like, the constant jokes in Age of Ultron drove me crazy because I thought Ultron was a decent villain and I love James Spader, and every time there was a little bit of like serious menace to him, he would just break that tension with a stupid joke, and I found it irritating.
I was just going to say WandaVision has a good balance between the two, but I don't really want to spoil it or really do anything
is so good
about it.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I'll catch up when I'm done playing this fucking RPG I'm playing for review that takes up 24/7 of my fucking free time. I can't do anything.
Oh, that's me in Stardew Valley right now. I'm going ham on Stardew Valley. I've been playing it nonstop since Saturday.
Hey, at least I can tell people it's for my job, though.
Oh, no. I'm just addicted. I'm planning on platinuming it within like a month, which is unheard of. Yeah. So I'm going ham.
Are you playing it right now during the podcast?
No, I took a break.
You sound so sad when you said it. No, I want to go.
Well, about 15 minutes before the podcast started, and Alan John was like, "Hey, are you guys ready?" I was like, "Oh God, do we have to do it right now? Can we have another hour?" And it's like, "All right, fine." So I had to pause the game. I couldn't make it to my bed to save, so I had to just pause it and come over here. So. Yeah, I put in like 40 hours since like Saturday, so whew.
Wow, dude. Yeah, that's intense. I don't think I've put in that much.
Yeah, Alan John is currently and I'm only in I'm still in my first year. I'm trying to be as efficient as possible. Okay. What's next? Oh, are you playing a Nintendo game right now, Alan John?
Yeah, I'm playing the new Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS. It just came out for the Switch, and I just unlocked Green Mario.
Oh, that's great.
It didn't just come out for the Switch. Super Mario 3D World came out for the Switch.
Hey, Eric, remember you said something about sarcasm, like not being detected?
I did say that.
Yeah, I understand what you were talking about now. So,
speaking of sarcasm and Nintendo, guys, Nintendo Direct came out the other day, and I am so happy at who they announced is gonna be on Smash. I'm so excited. I wanted more anime swordsman and woman, and we got it finally. I'm a little disappointed because I wanted some more like Fire Emblem representation, but like I'll take it. What do you guys think?
yeah, well, I know that Steven is a big Xenoblade nut. I know he was so hyped because we were watching this direct at the same time, basically. And I remember seeing Steven's reaction. He was right next to me in the Texas studio, which is currently flooded and has no power.
We haven't been able to get out since we recorded last week. iFish and Terminator 02 are currently trying to restart the generator. They weren't able to get out after they were frozen inside a fish.
They're like hamsters on a stationary bike.
They're powering our computers for this.
They're powering it right now. They're over there. Hey, iFish.
Thank you.
He says hi back.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to watch the direct. They were also running then too.
Please donate to the GBAtemp Patreon. That's patreon.com/GBAtemp so we can afford a new studio, hopefully in a state which knows how to operate a power grid during snow.
And we're currently working on a way to be able to do that through PayPal without a credit card. It'll be nice.
Okay, that's a deep cut nobody's gonna get when this is out.
That is a deep cut.
I assure you, nobody will understand.
If anybody understands what Steven just said, I'll give you a hint. You just have to. Oh man, I'm not going to give a hint. If you can find it and leave a comment, like I don't know, you're invited on the podcast.
That joke was for an audience of two.
I'm just gonna say this is nice.
This is nice.
It was what were we talking about? Okay, yeah. Steven is a big Xenoblade nut. Like I saw his reaction. He's like, "Oh, is this Xenoblade Chronicles 3?" Because the direct starts off with like Xenoblade characters talking to each other, like, "Oh man, the Xenoblade, dude. I don't know what we're gonna do with it." Like, I don't know what they're talking about. I've never played a Xeno game. Xeno Saga, Xeno Chronicle, whatever game.
Xenoverse.
Well, that was the cliffhanger right at the end of the second one, is they finally get the Xenoblade, and then they're like, oh, fuck, what do we do with this thing? We didn't think this far ahead.
Yeah, and so, like, I'm starting to think, oh, this is cool, a new Xenoblade game. I bet a lot of people are waiting for this, and then the main character comes up to this female character named Mithra, and he's like, "Hey, why are you so sad? What's wrong with you?" She like turns around. She's like, "I got a Smash invite." It literally says it. And have you guys seen the reveal? Oh yeah, you have. We were watching it at the same time, definitely.
Of course, together. We haven't been able to leave. We've been iced in for a week now, so you know everything we've been doing for the last week.
Everything.
That was a pretty cool reveal of a Smash character. I'm not gonna lie, it's on par with like the Steve from Minecraft reveal.
Oh yeah, where there were square holes, which is like impossible.
Yeah.
That's another deep cut.
Yeah.
Is this the first time like a character with a voice actor like literally says, "I was invited to Smash"?
Ooh. Maybe with a voice actor. I think Isabel said it in her trailer, but that was just text. Yeah, it was that. I don't know. Yeah, and I know they've
Wait. Snake. Didn't he say something?
Oh yeah, back in Brawl, he basically did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. During one of the codec. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like that Mario thing. Yeah. I barely remember that, but yeah, he definitely said it.
Yeah. No, this was a fun trailer. I really like the trolls that they do at the beginning of a lot of these trailers, and the little like bit of laying the groundwork that's always there with like just the characters hanging out in universe.
Yeah, and it's actually like two characters. It's like this redhead chick and this blonde chick. They're very hot. What else am I gonna say? I am eager to see the fan content made based on them.
I'm sure it's already out there because they're in Xenoblade. That's the best thing. This brings new characters to your attention that you can immediately look for Rule 34 of.
What's the Rule 34? I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to look at nice photos.
Okay, I apologize.
I know that there are at least a couple of members of GBAtemp who are probably very upset that you get to play as women who fight. I'm not going to say any names, but yeah. So I'm sorry for them that they have to deal with having the option to fight as ladies.
How long has Metroid been in Smash?
Well, they haven't gotten to it yet. They got Samus.
Yeah, they haven't gotten to the Metroid yet. Those. Yeah.
When are they gonna add Halo to Smash? I think I predicted that, but it hasn't come true yet.
When are they gonna add Mortal Kombat?
Like, yeah, these past couple of reveals, they've been completely unpredicted. Nobody predicted Steve. I don't think anybody predicted more Xenoblade characters either. People were like thinking, oh, it's Goku or something. Nobody expect this.
Or Sora.
And this is almost the last one, right? The next one's going to be the last fighter, right?
Is the next one 5 or 6? Because they're doing 6.
I think the next one's 6.
Oh, fuck. That's disappointing a little bit.
Wait, what if this was the last one because there's 2 of them?
Whoa. That would suck. No, they've done those dual fighters a little bit before. Like, Alf is an alternate costume for Olimar. And, like all the Koopa kids are alternate costumes for Bowser Jr., so.
I don't think that these two characters are like alt costumes. From what I've seen, I think they have like different abilities and different playstyles.
Oh, really? Maybe they're Echo fighters then.
Okay, it looks like I just went to SmashBros.com. Looks like they have 2 fighters left.
Okay, so this is only 4. Because I was thinking, wasn't it Arms, Steve, Sephiroth, and now these 2?
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think that they're alternate versions of the same character because they have Steve/Alex listed and then Pyra/Mithra listed. So I think that it's like the same thing.
It's probably an Olimar situation. Yeah.
Or an Eric/Jordan situation. Yeah. So two more fighters.
It's gonna be really weird when you guys get married.
To each other or separately? Like, what do you mean?
Weren't you talking about that earlier? Yeah, well, that's not what you were talking about. Never mind, you were talking about. Never mind. I think that was before we started recording anyway.
It was. leave that at home. So I guess more things were announced than just the Smash Fighters. Okay, so I was a little disappointed by the reveal. I want less swordsmen and more other things. Fall Guys is coming to Switch. Do people still play that game, guys? Oh, by the way, sorry, before I get to that, the Smash DLC will be released in March. Now, Fall Guys coming to Switch. You guys excited about that? Do you care?
Not really.
I mean, I thought Fall Guys and Among Us were the same game at some point. I thought Among Us was literally fan art for the Fall Guys.
The Fall Guys?
Yeah, because they look the same. They're like little blobs, and I thought Among Us was just poorly drawn fan art.
Okay, you know what? I can see it. That makes sense.
The little beans, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What else happened that is like exciting
In life or in
gaming? Oh yeah, lots of other stuff were announced, but before we get to the big ones, anything else?
So Outer Wilds is getting ported, which I know a lot of people really like, although I haven't played it. So I don't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm. We don't have any new info on Breath of the Wild 2.
Yep, which was a weird announcement to go out of their way to say, but I guess they don't want people to start freaking out about it.
Ninja Gaiden trilogy was announced. You'd think they changed the name because it's kind of like, I don't know, homophobic, but whatever.
Pretty sure it's Gaiden. Yeah, I know.
You know what's sad? It's like they keep trying to get rid of all the heroes, but they keep f***ing up because now for the 3rd time, we're going to have no more heroes in August. Oh, that was funny.
It was slick.
Yeah. They announced Splatoon 3. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's get to the Zelda stuff.
Wait, what was the other one? There's a I don't even know if it has a name yet, but there's like kind of a Final Fantasy Tactics like spiritual successor.
Oh, Triangle Strategy?
Yeah, there you go. And it kind of looks like the Octopath, like HD 2D weird style. And
It's from the same developers, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's from the same team.
I believe so, yeah.
Have you guys played any of the Final Fantasy Tactics games?
I played a little bit of the first one. I've been meaning to get back to
They're
it.
so fun. They're so fun.
Yeah.
The one for the PS1 is so much different than the Game Boy and DS ones, but they're all really good. Some of my favorite Final Fantasy games, even though it's like in a completely different style, which is also why I like 12 because it kind of took place in the same world.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So that's neat.
There's also this game coming out called World's End Club, which is being made by the Zero Escape and Danganronpa guys. They're collaborating. And those are two really cool visual novel series, like kind of horror puzzle-based visual novels that I really, really like. So I'm excited for them to work together.
Danganronpa, that's another one that has a lot of cool fan art.
That's all you know about it?
Persona has a lot of good fan art.
You should play them. They're all really good games.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out of visual novels. Like that's basically been exclusively what I've been playing with my broken finger until I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use two hands to play video games again. I'm going straight into Stardew. But yeah, like after playing the Ace Attorney trilogy, I'm like, I'm not ready to jump into Danganronpa.
Oh,
Not yet. Not yet. I will, but not yet. Skyward Sword, boys. Any thoughts? Did you guys play Skyward Sword?
Skyward Sword Boys? Is that the new Smash game?
It is. Skyward Sword, boys. Okay, no. Skyward Sword, that one game that came out for the Wii a bunch of years ago is getting an HD remake. It's going to cost retail. But hey, it'll have button controls. I played Skyward Sword, and I didn't hate it as much as many other people did. I definitely think that it's my least favorite 3D Zelda game. I'm not counting Breath of the Wild because I didn't play enough of that to have a good grasp of if I like it or not. But I like Skyward Sword relatively okay. I think that it'll be really fun to play without the janky Wii remote with the weird looking extension on it that I had to add.
You can now use the Joy-Cons. Yay.
To drift. Yeah, nice. So,
yeah, I'm not a huge Zelda guy. Is the people's issue with that game the motion controls, or is it more like design and story stuff? I know people don't like the motion controls, but how far does it go beyond that?
well, see, you're not a true Zelda fan unless you hate at least half of the games. That's the thing. I'm the exception because I like every Zelda game. I've played every Zelda game and I like all of them with the exception of
Link's Crossbow Training?
Exactly. No, I'm trying to think. Well, what was it? Oh, Spirit Tracks. I didn't like Spirit Tracks that much. Everything else I enjoyed.
Nobody likes Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, I enjoyed immensely. Skyward Sword was iffy. But anyway, my problems with Skyward Sword, I don't know. I like the story. I like the plot. It seemed to actually try to connect the game with other Zelda games, which is something that I thought was interesting. But the motion controls were just really janky.
Yeah.
The combat wasn't that great. Lots of people have a problem with the story. I like the story. So there's that.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure if this was a situation where people really wanted, I guess nobody really wanted an update of it, but people felt they needed an update to get rid of the janky controls, or if they felt the whole thing was kind of a lost cause.
No.
I know I've heard really good things about the villain. Is it GBAtemp or something? I know people say he's kind of an interesting Zelda villain. Or Anganim, something like that.
Yeah. I don't think that's the villain's name. I'm trying to remember what the villain's name was.
It's Ganon, Steven. How could you not know this? Are you not a real gamer? Everybody knows this.
Yeah, wasn't the villain in Skyward Sword named Demise? I'm pretty sure, who is the precursor to Ganon. Like Skyward Sword takes place before all the other games, so it's like this is the first Link, first Zelda, first thing that will later become Ganon. And I think his name was Demise.
GBAtemp is who I'm thinking of.
You talked about that. It basically established that Link and Zelda are basically, every time there's a Link and Zelda, they're basically like reincarnations, and They keep following the same path?
Sometimes it's through the same bloodline, and sometimes it drifts off into a different bloodline. But yeah, they're for the most part all different Links and Zeldas that have the same destiny, and it's one Ganon. Well, I guess it's one Ganon for each timeline, but they never actually straight up kill Ganon. They always seal him or something like that, so he always ends up coming back.
They should just kill him.
They should, but they don't because...
Is it like a Batman thing? Do they not kill? Is that why they don't use guns either?
Yeah, I wondered why they don't use guns. I'm like, dude, you're using a crossbow. Just straight up use a gun.
Yeah.
Just shoot. I think that Harry Potter should have used a gun. But you know, whatever.
Do they ever address that in the Harry Potter books? Like guns? Can they deflect bullets with their magic?
I think they probably can. They could just cast a bulletproof like thing around them, right?
Oh, okay.
The thing about Harry Potter is they kind of do explain it. We don't have to talk about it on the podcast, but they explain it. The books don't necessarily explain it, but J.K. Rowling, for all of the craziness that she says, she does explain some things like, oh, wizards would never use guns because those are regular Muggle things to do. But then Muggles use guns to like fight against wizards too. So
yeah.
So yes, guns are very powerful.
Okay. And also wizards don't use toilets.
They do now. They just didn't used to. They didn't used to use toilets. They pooped wherever they were and apparated it away.
And also, transgender people don't exist in Hogwarts. That's another fun fact.
Yeah.
That's from J.K. Rowling. I didn't say that.
Well, you just how dare you quote J.K. Rowling on this podcast?
Yeah.
There you go.
Skyward Sword. I think, yeah, that's pretty cool because this was the only Zelda game we couldn't play in HD, right? Because all the other Twilight Princess got an HD remaster on the Wii U. It's probably gonna get a remaster as well on the Switch. Link's Awakening.
Yeah. Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time still aren't HD. They're 3D, but they're not HD.
They're 3D. Yeah.
You could easily emulate them though. So.
I'm sure that's Nintendo's logic. I'm sure. Should we redo those games? Nah, people are just emulating it.
You can emulate any Zelda game. You can play if you want. You can play any Zelda game on your PC right now.
You're right.
You just gotta get the ROM from GBAtemp.net. And
direct message Alan John and ask for wares.
Alan John normally, he normally cuts me off when I try to say that, but he didn't this time. Let's see if I can get away with this. So anyway, download Raid Shadow Legends. Use our code GBAtemp.
That's how I'm gonna shut you off from now.
Oh God. Okay, no more.
Yeah, I feel bad for the listener.
the one we still have after this fucking train wreck.
Yeah. Where did we lose everybody else? Was it at Mortal Kombat? Was it at?
We lost him at. I don't know, San Andreas.
Talking about whether the middle finger or the index finger was a better finger.
Isn't that weird? What I think the least expected thing to come out of this direct was a fucking Stubbs the Zombie remake or reboot or whatever that is. Like, does anyone remember Rebel Without a Pulse? Did anyone see that coming?
Rebel Without a Pulse.
Seriously, I couldn't fucking believe it when I saw that. It was like, what a bizarre pull that is. Like, I feel like anything can come back now. Any weird game anyone remembers from their childhood might be around the corner at this point.
Yeah,
because it's not based on name recognition or success anymore. Clearly,
there was a weird little game I played back when I was a kid. It was called Mother 3. Would be nice to get like a remaster or a localization of that game. That would be nice, Nintendo.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
No, the best we could do is Smash. Who's this little blonde kid? Lucas? I don't know a Lucas.
He made fucking Star Wars, dude.
Oh yeah. And then he made some more Star Wars, which wasn't as good. And then they gave it to somebody else who made even worse Star Wars.
Yeah, that's basic Earthbound lore, I think. Oh, we could talk for hours on end about Earthbound lore.
Oh, we could talk about Star Wars Hunters, which is a third-based shooter developed by Zynga. So that's interesting. Not really that much, though.
I'm trying to look. Did I miss anything else? Was that direct that? It was like 15 minutes long, but it feels like other than the Smash reveal and a couple of games announced, Ghosts and Goblins got a remake. It's cool.
Well, that had already been announced. I think this was just the date finally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was announced.
Which is in a couple
when was that
days.
announced? What, like Game Awards or something? I think that was announced. Something like that.
Legend of Mana is getting a remake. That's pretty cool. That was like an SNES RPG, right?
I don't know. I always forget or confuse. Is it Secret of Evermore and the Secret of Mana? I know there's Legend of Mana. I get all those JRPGs confused sometimes, honestly.
Oh wait, no. Legend of Mana was a PlayStation 1 game.
Ooh.
What? So a Secret of Mana was a
It's an SNES game.
an SNES game, I think.
Yeah.
The game had a cool combat system, and Secret of Mana was already had a remake, and it was released for the PlayStation 4 and for the Wii U's. That's another $60 game waiting to be ported. Yeah, can we talk how Skyward Sword is $60? The same price as Breath of the Wild is... Eric, you've played both of these games. I know Breath of the Wild is like a shitty 7 out of 10, but would you put them in the same price bracket?
No. Nintendo, it's the Nintendo tax, man. You're going to pay full price for a Nintendo game when you can get alternatives for other... I know, you should not be paying $60 for Skyward Sword. It's a little ridiculous, but... I'm not at all surprised, but I wouldn't price it at $60. You could think about it if you're a super fanboy and say, well, actually, games are $70 now, so actually you're getting this on sale. It's like, no.
Okay, NBA 2K21, if that's a real game, and Skyward Sword, should they be... Well, NBA is $10 more. I don't even know where I'm going with this argument. I'm too tired.
Oh, God, Alan John just fell asleep on the podcast. Well, that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. We love you.
This has been nice.